Hello from the Summit on Legal Innovation and Disruption East 2018 in New York City. I'm David Cowen.
I'm Chris Mammen.
And we're on the road with Legal Talk Network. So, Chris, thank you, very much for hosting the Solid Shooting Star Tech Showcase today. I guess I really want to know, what was it that motivated you to support this? You've given us this fabulous atrium space. We had 120 guests. We had 12 shooting stars. What was it about that resonated with you today?
Let me say it was a real pleasure to be able to host this event today, and thank you for organizing the event. We hosted this event at Hogan Lovells because innovation is really driving change in the legal profession, and this was an opportunity to see some of the rising stars in legal tech that we might not have otherwise seen, and to really have a chance to give them a platform to show their stuff.
So of the 12 stars that you did see today, how many would you have not seen, would not have made your radar, and as a result of today, they're now on your radar screen and you might take some action, and will you take any action with some of the surprise shooting stars?
So yeah, out of the 12 that we saw today, there were probably 10 that I was not familiar with, and 2 or 3 that are definitely right in my sweet spot for things that impact my practice and that are interesting to me. I'm definitely going to follow up both with them and also making introductions with some of my colleagues and clients.
So each of the shooting stars got 5 minutes to pitch who they are, what they do, and give you a use case. And then we did this speed dating. What was the speed dating like for you at your table?
So that was really fantastic. It was an opportunity to sit down at the table with the presenter and a number of people who were interested in that presenter's product, and we just had a chance to pepper the presenter with questions and engage in a back and forth discussion. And quite often the other interested attendees raised things. So it was a group discussion that really added to the dialogue.
So when I envisioned the shooting star speed dating, I envisioned it like shopping for a car with a friend who was smarter than me. Like, how many times would I like to shop for a car with like 2 or 3 guys that like know more than I do? Was it like that? Did you gain some experience and some knowledge from those around the table? Because it was speed dating with peers and colleagues, right? So you had 4 or 5 or 6 other guys with you. What was that like? Yeah,
I don't know that it was so much like shopping for a car, because it wasn't necessarily the sales job. But it was more like, a little quick seminar and a high-speed seminar on the issues that are addressed by this particular technologist, or key features or key questions. It allowed us to dig deeper on some of the things that we thought of and wanted to follow up on.
And given what we experienced here today, what would you say the rate of change is in the market? We talk about investment in innovation and disruption, big law investment, which I personally think is accelerating. Where do you see the investment in technology, and where do you see the rate of change in the business today?
Oh, the rate of change is fast and accelerating. The expectations for practicing lawyers are to do things better, faster, and cheaper than ever before, and that rate is just picking up. The incredible advances in technology are just getting better and better. The rate of change in the practice of law is picking up, as you indicated. Investment in big law, as well as investment in smaller practitioners, is also picking up. And some of the things that came out of today, I think we need to keep an eye on. How can we keep the courts and the legal system up with how fast and how much everything is changing?
So I just want to continue maybe one more question on the rate of change and where that change is coming from. From where I'm sitting, I work with 335 major corporations and 65 of the M-Law 200. I'm seeing change coming from the top, the middle, and the bottom. I see change coming from the top 25 law firms, some middle 25 out there, but 1,000 individuals, 1,000 tech startups, 1,000, new law school grads, 1,000 legal entrepreneurs, innovators, and mavericks. Where do you see that change coming from? Top, middle, bottom, all the above? What's your comment on that?
David, I absolutely agree with that. The change is coming from all parts of the legal sectors, the kinds of things that big law firms like Hogan Lovells are investing in order to drive change and to drive the delivery of legal services in a customer-oriented fashion is one part of it. Middle law firms, mid-sized law firms, and solos and small firms are also having lots of opportunities to adopt a lot of these tech tools and deliver caliber of legal services that was never before possible from a small platform. So it's really exciting.
You know, I started my career in the e-discovery space in 2004, and what I did in 2004 is you show me an organization that's investing in people and talent, I'll show you an organization that's about to invest further in process and technology. And that's what I'm seeing now, and Hogan is certainly doing that. I can count $1 million of non-billable salaries and compensation that Hogan is investing right now in their innovation leadership to drive forward the organization. And that, to me, I can only count 15 or 17 other firms that are investing that heavily on a global level. Of course, we've got 58 CNOs in the market right now, but I'm counting how many firms are investing $1 million plus in talent that's not billable to drive innovation and disruption forward. And Hogan is one of them. So I want to say congratulations to you and Molly and Karen and Steve and the rest of the team that are really committed. I don't know how you've got your leadership committed to that kind of funding and then some, but well done. Any comment you want to make on that before we close that won't get you fired?
David, I can't say it better than you already said it, so thank you for that shout out.
Chris, if our listeners would like to follow up, how can they get in touch with you?
They can feel free to reach out to me on my email address, chris.mammen@hoganlovells.com.
Fantastic. Well, we've reached the end of the road for today's episode, and I want to thank our guests for joining us today. Chris Mammen, thank you so much for joining us. We also want to thank our listeners for tuning in. If you like what you've heard today, please rate us in Apple Podcasts. We'll see you next time for another episode of On the Road with Legal Talk Network.
If you'd like more information about what you've heard today, please visit LegalTalkNetwork.com. Subscribe via iTunes and RSS. Find us on Twitter and Facebook, or download our free Legal Talk Network app in Google Play and iTunes. The views expressed by the participants of this program are their own and do not represent the views of, nor are they endorsed by, Legal Talk Network, its officers, directors, employees, agents, representatives, shareholders, and subsidiaries. None of the content should be considered legal advice. As always, consult a lawyer.